Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Stevens, and this is the Psychology to Live By podcast. In the first podcast in this series, we discussed how to plan so you can enjoy an actual holiday on your holiday. Today, we discuss how you implement that plan. So once you've identified your holiday purpose and written down what to do, especially what you need to stop doing, it's time to put the plan into action. Easy, right? Well, probably not. I've compiled a list of some quite likely hurdles you'll have to surmount in order to be in charge of your holidays, and with each, I offer some suggested strategies to deal with them. The first and most important strategy is to talk to the relevant people. Let's start with people close to you. If you don't have their support, you're probably cactus. So have a meeting. Enroll those close to you in your plan, your partner, your kids, your friends, whoever's relevant. You'll probably need to adjust your plan so it works for them as well. Their needs have to be accommodated, so start there. Note, this will help them focus on their purpose as well, and they may have some good ideas that you haven't thought of. Next, you'll need to talk to those to whom you may be saying no. The usual challenge here is how to assert your needs. You may well have to decline some invitations or limit how many guests you have or reduce durations of visits, travel or events. All this requires thought because for various cost-benefit reasons, you may need to strike a skillful balance. You might be balancing your partner's needs to not rock the boat, for example, with their family or indeed with your own. As we will see, reducing your commitments is also about often saying no-ish rather than a complete no. The first piece of advice I'd give to others and myself is to never say yes straight away. It's much harder to reel back in a yes once it's been cast out in the world. This simple rule has served me faithfully. You want time and space to think before you commit yourself to other people's expectations. We often do stuff merely to feel accepted by other people, even though it puts us under undue pressure. So, a good idea is to practice saying no to requests that are more than you want. Have a couple of ways to say no ready, so you don't have to make them up in the moment. Now, sometimes it is actually a question of directly saying no. Something like, "No, thank you, I won't be able to make it." It's a good idea when you do this to then stay silent. Usually, people will just accept it. More commonly, you'll use a more gracious no, such as, "I really appreciate you asking, but I'm fully booked." Or you can put the responsibility elsewhere. "I've promised person X, your partner, your mother, your kids, etc., not to take on any more things in my break so I can rest." Or, to better maintain the relationship, try this. "I can't do it this time, but next time, please ask me." Or just simply say, "Thank you so much, but I'm maxed out. I'm fully booked." Or, "I'm saying no to just about everything at present." Just take a couple of these as models and put them into your own words. Practice them out loud to make sure they fit and have them ready. Now, often you need to negotiate, so the answer is no-ish. My advice here is to stall and give yourself time to think when not under pressure. You could say something like, "I'm grateful you asked, but let me think about it." Or, "Can I get back to you in an hour, or tomorrow, or next week, etc." Or, "I need to check with so-and-so and I'll get back to you." You can always make a counter offer if it's important for you to catch up with this person or if you're balancing a variety of people's needs. How do I reduce the holiday workload? Well, the answer is just do less. If you're a person who sends cards, maybe reduce them to people with whom you have regular communication, or find ways to simplify. Every card doesn't need a personalised letter. The same goes for cooking and baking and so on. If you can afford it, buy prepared goods instead. The most common experience on Christmas holidays is way too much food and time spent in food preparation, so cut it back. It may also help you in not eating too much as well as reducing waste. And speaking of consuming too much, how do we eat and drink less on the holidays? Well, if you're less stressed, it is easier to eat and drink less. Frequently, the overindulging is partly there to meet emotional needs. So if you focus on reducing stress via exercise, sleep, meditation, enjoyable activities, rest, etc., you'll probably find that you'll be more moderate. It's also a good idea to have some healthy food at hand for each meal. Another suggestion is to practice being more aware of your intake by eating and drinking mindfully. Eat your meals without other distractions. Taste the food, smell it, feel the texture. Now, if you know that you will want to indulge more than usual with alcohol, decide in advance how many drinks and on what occasions, and then give someone you trust permission to give you the nod if you've exceeded that limit. This works remarkably well. If there are financial pressures, be honest with yourself and others. Tell them you can't afford to do the things they are suggesting. Discuss your desire for modest expenditure, or maybe even just exchanging cards rather than gifts. People will understand. There's something crazy about gift giving for the sake of it. Also with kids, it won't hurt them to receive fewer but more targeted gifts. In fact, it's great training for them. Having to attend to some work while on holidays? I know it happens. And if yours is the kind of job that expects it, then so be it. Choose it rather than resent it. This is another reason for having plenty of empty space in your calendar. Stuff happens. Not doing the exercise, meditation, swimming, book reading when you have the opportunity? Well, as with New Year resolutions, these types of things don't just magically do themselves. You have to build routines and habits around them. The single best book on this is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a book to help you all year round, but no better time to start than in preparation for your holidays. Some simple rules are: start with 1 or 2 small goals, make them easy to do, set up your environment to support them, and congratulate yourself for doing them. Then repeat. Do I still have to put up with my obnoxious uncle? Look, if you really have to be present with people you don't like, think it through in advance. Make your peace and accept it with good grace. Use it as an opportunity to practice emotional self-management. Try deep breathing and strictly limit the time you directly spend with them, maintaining a physical distance if possible, and deliberately practice equanimity. Decide in advance to let it be like water off a duck's back. Above all, decide in advance to not hand the keys to your emotional kingdom to a jerk. Connecting with others. For some of us, the holidays can be isolating, particularly if we're separated from family and friends. Pick up the phone and call someone you care about, or organise a video catch-up. Check in with others who you know are doing it tough and are also feeling alone. Helping those less fortunate than yourself is extremely fulfilling. For example, research indicates that such pro-sociality makes you feel more connected, more relaxed, and happier. But I'm not enjoying myself yet. Well, it can take a few days to slow down and relax enough to enjoy ourselves. Have you ever noticed that? Or you might even get ill on the first week of your break. Have you noticed that? That's why we need to dial things right back and not expect too much. Be patient. Remind yourself that this is why you're designing your holiday around your needs. You will unwind if you leave space for it. Don't get stressed about your stress. Be grateful you've got a plan to unwind it. be in the moment and have fun. We can often spend so much time worrying about the past or the future that we don't enjoy what's happening in the moment. Take time to stop and be aware of what you're doing. The more you notice it, the more you enjoy it. Every day of the holidays, remind yourself of your purpose. Mentally congratulate yourself for when you kept to that purpose. Consciously note what distracted you, diverted you, and then figure out what you learned from it so you can enjoy tomorrow even more. And one more thing. In the next podcast, I want to talk about how we can be a little bit better at enjoying each day and how that might relate to New Year resolutions. But here's a heads up. Learning how to have a holiday on our holidays will come in very handy when we explore that topic. We can still enjoy life when things aren't objectively great. The same principles, such as prioritising activities for our well-being, leaving space for reflection and gratitude, practicing mindful noticing, will very much apply there as well. But for now, get to it. Get planning for your enjoyable holiday. You've been listening to the Psychology to Live By podcast. If you'd like to know more, my website is www.drchris.life. And if you like the podcast, share it with people you like so they can like it too.